tired.
John Payne put together a solid game plan 2 weeks in a row. So this is a big. But overall, I think the plan too much. We just need to be
We're at an exceptional level against very good teams.
This was our third win in a row. Very happy. I'm just concerned about Well, good evening, fellow people in the Let's Talk Football group. As I talked about earlier this week, I am here with, I'm just going to call them my boys that I hang out with every weekend when we're watching football. There is Steve to the this way, that way of me.
Yeah.
Gavin's below me, and Todd's kitty corner over on the side. So
We're the Bronco bunch.
yeah, we're the Bronco. As they call us, Broncoholics. So you can catch us every game at Almost Home, and we're usually there watching the game, unless we're out of town watching another game or other things. So we're going to talk what the Broncos need for the draft, what we think they should be doing. But before we get into that, I read a nice little article that there is a possible trade between Green Bay and Denver, because everybody, you may know, Bakhtiari got released by Green Bay. They need a tackle to play that position for Jordan Love. So the rumor is that Green Bay and those guys are going to trade Garrett Bowles, is the deal, for a 25th, 58th, and 202 pick in the draft. So starting with Gavin, what do you think of that trade?
I hate it.
Or that idea? What?
I hate it. No. I mean, our most glaring need obviously is quarterback, and we're going to take away whatever quarterback we get. Probably going to be a rookie. The number one way to blow a rookie's confidence is to take away their protection. So I just don't see how this is a good fit for Denver. We have what, one more year on Bull's contract?
Yes.
One more, right? Yeah. So I guess, yeah, for first now, it's tough to say no to that value, but still, I don't know if we can hope to re-sign him. He's really turned his career around at Denver. I like where he's at. He's a stalwart pillar of this team. He's one of my untradables. What do you guys think?
Todd?
So one of the most interesting things that's happened to me as a sports fan ever has happened in the last 3 months, which is I've never really gone through a rebuild with a team I've really, really cared about. And rebuilds are terrible. They're hurtful. I think I'm going to be pretty radical on this call. Given where we are right now, given that Patrick Mahomes is in the prime of his career, I think we should do a real rebuild. I don't think we need a quarterback. I don't think we needed a quarterback in 2023. I would trade Bowles. I would trade Surtain. We have no talent across the board. We've got good players, but we're not a talented team right now. We don't have young talent. I think if we spend the next 2 years with as many draft picks as we can, we probably would be better off in 4. So I would say if those are the parameters of the deal, Garrett, go spend a year in Green Bay and come back if you want.
Yeah, all of this reads as the kind of things people talk about when they've got nothing else to talk about and lead up to the draft and some speculation and things like that. So I don't think it's real, but if it happened, as part of, okay, well, now we've got this extra pick at 25. Now we've got the capital we need to move up. Like, I suppose you could do that, but the Vikings already have the capital to do that kind of move up and also are in somewhat the same position as we are in terms of getting a quarterback. So, I'm kind of where Todd's at. I think Todd's slightly more extremist on this than I am, but I think right now I'm kind of inclined to let's play conservative. Let's invest in our future draft capital and play for, really getting this team on track.
Wow.
I can interrupt one thing. So, we all thought that Clinton Portis was for Champ Bailey was a great trade, right? How many playoff games did Champ Bailey win in his career? He won one. He won against
That Patriots. That Patriots.
The Patriots one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's still a
but
good trade.
it was still a good trade
Well,
because what he
depends on what you
did
look
in
for,
that
right?
position in the cornerback, like Champ Bailey is who we think. Well, Steve Atwater and Champ Bailey are who I kind of see as the quintessential quarterbacks for our team. So, even though he only won one playoff game, I do consider that to be a really good trade. I'm kind of in favor of the trade. And it kind of goes with my pick later as to why I'm when we talk about who we really want, I think there's some options we have there. I don't agree with trading Pat Surtain, and anybody that knows me knows I am not in favor of trading Pat Surtain.
No.
I don't care how good of a quarterback we could get that we could jump to number one. We're not trading him. We do that. All Mahomes is going to be doing is this side, that side, this side, that side, this side, and Herbert and all those guys. We need him on one side to keep them under control while we are rebuilding, restructuring, whatever you want to call it. So I get your point though, Gavin. Like he has turned his career around. When he started, it was not good. So I see that. But this also gives us 3 more picks that we didn't have in the draft that we could use to pick for other positions that we might need. But all right, well, I haven't seen it. I saw it in the thing. It could be somebody that's just kind of trying to make, like Steve said, trying to make a little chatty on social media and stuff. But it's not the only one. I've been hearing about some other things. So I do think George is burning up the phone lines, trying to see what he could get or see what he could do. All
It's
right.
kind of weird, right? Like we haven't seen. There's been a bunch of other rumors kicking around. Like the Broncos have been pretty tight-lipped this whole time, aside from coach's breakfast and Sean's comments there. Other than that, like he's keeping shit real close to the chest, and
Real tight.
Kind of cool. And there's other leagues like Raiders want this, and people are looking this, and they're talking with this. Like there's nothing coming out of Dove Valley right now, and
yeah. Like the only thing that came out is here's a sneak peek at the new uniforms. That's it.
Yeah.
And so
insiders
people start nothing
saying this and that. Like there's nothing.
Nope. All right. Well, we're gonna move on to the big thing that our fandom is talking about, which is who's gonna be our quarterback. Or as I say, who's stopping the QB carousel?
Hoping.
All right. So this time we're going to start with Todd because he had the pretty radical thing of restructuring. So what would you do to stop the QB carousel?
So I honestly don't think it's stopping this year. I do not. I think there's so much that's gone on in the last 7 years, including, the 3 drafts of our franchise quarterback, Brock, maybe longer than that, but you look at Brock, Paxton, and Drew. I think taking a non-sure thing in the draft, especially when there's going to be so many sure things in front of us, is a mistake. So I want Stidham, believe it or not. I want Stidham to start next year. I am talking about a rebuild. I am talking about letting, if we're going to do it, let's do it. Let's let this year go. It can't be any worse than the last 6, which have been terrible. But I don't see, unfortunately, we were in playoff contention till mid-December. We don't have the pick that's going to get us a sure thing. Couple may fall, but I'm not sure I believe in Bo Nix. I believe in Penix, but Penix is injury prone. So I think that let's just do it. And when we talk about the Broncos being tight-lipped, I mean, I think their problem is they're trying to figure out, do we win next year or do we not? And those are 2 radically different strategic approaches.
Well, I've been reading a lot in the internet. A lot of people kind of go. I was going to allude to this. So I'm going to put this up here. How do you feel about Spencer Rattler? I was going to allude to this because Spencer's alluded to it, and a couple of the other guys that are in the contention for. They've said that the Denver Broncos have had the hardest interviews when it came to their position. Like Sean Payton came in with a questionnaire and was asking them about situational awareness and what they would do and how they would handle this particular thing. So I don't. This is so like any of us for Rattler. I know there's people in our fandom that are. I kind of am. I don't know. I'm on the fence. So,
I have
what do you guys think?
I have some thoughts on this. I only want Rattler. I think if we can get Brock Bowers as a tight end, like the Bowers Rattler combo this year could be pretty great. And just take a flyer, see what happens. If it's not the guy, then we have some nice key pieces to move into next year. Rattler is a little small, a little chaotic. He's been humbled for sure from the beginning of his career because he was, Caleb Williams took his job. So he was the man until, Caleb came along and it kind of had a fall since then. So he's got a chip on his shoulder, which I find encouraging and I think is kind of cool. And something to kind of take a flyer on. But, back to a little bit of what Todd was saying, I don't believe we're in a full rebuild. Like you said, we were in playoff contention till mid-December. Teams that are in that position aren't rebuild material. Like they're not in need of a full teardown. We just need a competent quarterback who can do what Sean needs him to do. And clearly Russ wasn't that. So if we get a couple more pieces, I don't believe that we're that as far off as you think. I think we get a couple more pieces. We're good this year. We could even sniff the playoffs, but everybody's chasing the Texans model right now. Like, how do we duplicate the Texans model? And I think, if we can get halfway close to that this draft, I think we'll be in a good spot.
Steve?
Yeah, and honestly, like this kind of dovetails with how I'm thinking about the quarterback, and part of me is in the boat of, well, let's just roll with Stidham, let's get some future draft capital, and just find this season's not going to be great and whatever. The other thought I have is, all right, let's not trade up, but let's think, what can we trade down and pick up some capital, and then take a quarterback that we're like, he's rough around the edges. He's not quite like, he doesn't really rank highly. Let's take a shot on him because we feel like he's going to work with our system and he's going to be good. So like, the guy I keep thinking of is like a Michael Penix. But could it be Spencer Rattler? Sure. It's really about a matter of what do the Paytons think about him and how he fits. And I would be fine with, let's take a shot, and either he does well and we've got something to build around and we didn't have to spend a lot of draft capital to do it, or he totally tanks and we're in a better position to draft in 2025 and we possibly have some extra draft capital to do it with. So I feel like that's kind of the direction I'm at, where it's like, I'm not necessarily saying burn it all down, but like if it's smoldering a little bit, that's okay.
I don't think Sean came here to burn it all down, honestly. Like, he wouldn't have stepped into this role if he wanted to burn it all down and build it down.
Well, that's the thing is, like, both the Paytons are on, limited contracts, right? Like, they need to show something, especially George Payton, to really justify, continuing all of this. And so one more season of failure might be acceptable, but not two more. So if they say, tank for whoever we pick in the 2025 draft, like, they can do it, but whoever they get in 2025 better be the answer, or this experiment is over.
Well, that's the thing. Like, we need to commit. I guess the one quick question I have for the three of you: do you think, regardless of all the potential scenarios up and down, does anyone think we should draft a quarterback at 12?
If the one they want is there at 12 and it's not an overextension. such as it's like a Bo Nix, a Penix, one of those, okay. If not, we can wait and we can draft an actual need, which that will be one of our questions later. We can draft a skilled position player in 12. So here's my thing. When I started out, I was with Todd. Peyton wanted Stidham. We paid $7 million to bring him over. Let's go with it. He had 3 games. That's nothing in terms of like being able to tell if he's any good or not. Because he was brought in after the team was essentially broken and not going anywhere. So bring him in. And I was okay with picking. I'm not in favor of giving up draft capital to trade up. No way are we trade. I don't want to trade up in any way. We'll give away too much. That's how we got into these positions over the last couple of years, is because we kept giving away our 2nd and 3rd round draft picks, and you get good people in there.
But they're
I'm
free.
more-
It's fine.
What if
Yeah.
May? What if Drake May fell to 8th or 10th?
I'm not a fan of Drake
I
May.
think he might fall. I think May might fall.
Yeah, that's what I've been seeing. I think based on what Peyton wants and the type of player he wants, I like Bo Nix. And I'm going to say it, and everybody kind of uses this as a derogatory term. What Peyton wants is a Drew Brees game manager type player, a player that is good and can throw the ball and can make the hits and everything, but he also knows how to manage the game and knows how to keep the game going. Bo Nix kind of is in that realm, but I also like Penix in that too. But they're both injury prone. They played on teams that have had adversity, and I like that. Rattler, like you said, he got humbled. But we get Rattler, he played with Mims. So, I mean, Corton could probably catch anything from anybody if you put it in the right place, but that might be a good fit for Mims. So, there's so many scenarios here that the only thing I'm not in favor of is not trading up.
Yeah, I'm curious, like around the horn here, like
you do not want to trade up. So you mean
it'd have to be good to trade. Like it would have like absolutely. I have to have JJ McCarthy, and he's available now, and I think he'll be gone type situation. I don't want JJ McCarthy. I'm not saying that, but it would have to be. We need this particular person. We want this cornerback. We want this edge rusher. It would have to be something, but I don't think of what I've been seeing. Quarterback is so big for what we need that I'm in agreement. Let's take someone. If they fall, okay. Let's take a chance on someone in this one, but let's not give away the bleeping barn in order to do it. Is my thought on the issue.
So I don't think we should trade up. I wonder if either Nix or Penix are worth the 12th pick of the draft. Like I look at Nix, Penix, and Rattler as sort of the same, and I think we can pick any one of the 3 of them up in the 2nd round or trade back. But we're just in this terrible position where if you need a quarterback, having the 12th pick in the draft is literally the worst place you can be.
Yeah.
Because the great ones are going to be gone, and you're going to have to overpay for the good ones.
Better than 13th.
Hot Raiders. So I saw the question come in. Do we want to talk about Drake May if he fell there?
Sean is North Carolina alum, and also my partner on Mondays. So he's a Drake May fan.
I guess I feel like, and I think part of it is just this like ongoing abuse we have suffered as Broncos fans of like, hey, we got Brock Osweiler. Hey, we got Drew Lock. Yeah, he's gonna be the hero. And like
Joe Flacco's
and so, like,
Bronco?
I look at a guy
excited about
who falls to 12, and I think, what's wrong with him? Like, and so but if you fell to 12, I mean, it's like, do you take him there? I guess. I mean, I think it's like it goes under the same thing I was talking about, where it's like take a chance on him. If he succeeds, great. If he doesn't, then you move on. But you are spending a 1st round pick on him, so how easily do you move on? That's the big question.
Yeah.
We've already led into my next question, which is, do we stay at 12? Do we go up? Do we stay? Do we go back? Like, do you guys, and it can actually lead probably into is there anyone at number 12 that you actually really would like to see us draft?
Brock Bowers for me. I would be pretty damn happy if he fell to us there. And I'd also be happy with Michael Penix for me. I think I like Penix over Nix. They're like here and here. But I think Penix maybe is a little bit more accurate. Nix played more games than anybody in the NCAA history, so he's definitely got the the field time in. But I don't know. Penix seems, his injury was 2 years ago. It is a little risky, like you were saying, Todd. But I think a little bit more upside with him. I'm freaked out about what the Raiders are going to do this draft. I think they're going to do something stupid like they always do, and jump us and get Sean's guy. But I don't know. I'm good to stay at 12 and let the draft fall. Like, just let it fall to us. If there's a chance that May creeps up to like 8th or something, or 10th, then maybe we jump ahead. I don't think we're going to compete with the Vikings this year. I think they're going to take whoever they want ahead of us, and then the Raiders might leapfrog us to take it. And any other year, this is like the quarterback year, right? So like in any other year, would Bo or Nix be QB2, QB3, instead of 5 or 6 right now? So are we getting a bit of a luxury bump because this year is so stacked? That's kind of in the back of my mind of like, man, if any year is going to do it, you kind of got to strike this one. Just because there's so much value. And at 12, we can actually have a good top prospect fall to us there. So that's a bit of my thinking.
Steve?
Yeah, if we stay at 12, I mean, first of all, I hate it. I would much rather we trade it down, get some draft capital, and move around a little bit. But if we stayed there, honestly, what I'd like to see us do is get a good edge rusher. Dallas Turner, Jared Verse, if they're still on the board. I think it's something where we have good people, but we don't have great people. And I think that like what we need to do if we're starting to build towards that future better roster is start finding pieces we can build around. And so having that reliable person who is going to wreck defenses and make them plan for that, I think sets us up well there. And if, on the assumption that, going into the next year, that's when we're really looking to move up and get the quarterback that we really want.
I think Schler said, a good cornerback will take away half the field. A good edge rush, or take away all your receivers. Or sorry, a good cornerback will take away one receiver. A good edge rusher will take away all your receivers.
Yep. Yeah.
Todd?
But I think the Jets are going to take Turner ahead.
So I think, I hate to quote Jim Harbaugh positively, but Harbaugh, he's got the 5th pick of the draft, and he said when you have a quarterback, the 5th pick of the draft is the 1st pick, and that's sort of my approach. My strong preference is trade down, get to 18 or 19, pick up Penix, Nix, or Rattler, because one of them will still be available. Get a 2nd round pick. That's what I would love to do. But I do think, like, talk about best available, like, and I don't know who it is. Like, I would love to get a great stud linebacker. I think that our linebacker core needs a leader.
Big time.
But like, because the quarterbacks are going first, there's going to be so much talent available at 12 that I think it's pretty hard to lock into one player at this point. Like, there's going to, if we stay at 12 and don't draft a quarterback, we can find another Surtain or, another, there might be a great running back there. There's going to be a lot of great players available. So that's my thought.
I'm also of the opinion I think we should use the 12 and get more draft capital. But if we're there, I'm also in favor of waiting till the 2nd round to get a quarterback, because I really don't want to overpay for these guys. I hate to say that.
We don't
unless well, if we
trade
the Green Bay trade, we would have a 2nd round.
If we trade back, we would as well. That would be
that would be the thing. Like, we'd want a 2nd round pick to get that 12th position if somebody really, really needed it. This is going to lead into mine because the reason why if we didn't trade back and we don't need the quarterback or whatever, or we don't pick there, and I would, or vice versa, or however, my really big pick that I would love to see on the team is our offensive line is getting older. Our tackles are getting older, and I think we need to replace one of our tackle positions. And I would love to have Amari Mims from Georgia. He's versatile. He uses both hands. A friend of mine is a Georgia fan. Talked to me about a lot of them. Alt's going to be gone. The big boys are going to be gone by that time. I would like to see Amari Mims over there. And he could be a good replacement for if we would lose Bowles or somebody like that. That's who my number one is. You guys, who's your number one outside of quarterback?
I think I've said it for me.
Yeah.
I think Brock Bowers is, look at the blueprint of the Chiefs right now, like a dominant tight end. And it's obviously a spectacular quarterback. And that killer combo is unguardable in the NFL. So if we can get half of that right now and then chisel away at the QB position, that would excite me a lot. So he's sort of there's a couple scenarios where he might be there. I don't think he's going to be, but we might have to jump to 10 to get it or something there. But if he's sitting there, I would be pretty happy with Brock.
I just have this anxiety around drafting another tight end high up.
Yeah.
Is he the next Noah fan?
Dulcich fan, waving on.
Dulcich might still be okay. He's just been so injury prone, which, to be fair, I don't think he had any record of injury issues in college. It's just been crap luck since then. But, but who knows? I mean, that's just the way the NFL draft is. It's there's not that many players, there's not that many chances, and you take your shots. Some work out, some don't. So
yeah. I mean, Hawkinson was at Iowa with Fant, and he went before Fant, and he turned out to be great. Fant disappeared.
Yeah.
So, crapshoot.
I'm just at best available. I don't have any particular preference.
And I'd also be good with an edge rusher or somebody on the interior linebacking core. So we need help in the middle. We definitely need some help in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, we got a lot of holes. I'm not gonna lie. And I think that's why after we had that run, God, I can't remember. It was 6 games, wasn't it, that we won straight, or was it 5? 5.
Yeah.
I think that's why we started breaking down after that. Is the holes we were covering were finally getting exposed. And
it was, and I understand, a little bit of a chess game in the way these games play out. And it's like you get on a hot streak because you're doing one thing, teams learn to counter it, and then, it goes badly after that. But, I will say, it was, I think, the most enjoyable football I have seen from this team in a few seasons. So
Since Trevor.
Yeah.
Since Trevor.
Forever. There you go. There you go. We'll bring him
There
back.
we go. Trevor forever. We never should have gotten rid of him, right, Todd?
Most successful quarterback since Peyton.
He's playing still.
Yeah, he is. All right. Well, this is kind of a softball question, but anything in the off season with our rivals that you guys found funny, amusing, or you were just like, really, they did that? Or, oh my God, that's going to be an issue. What do you think? Steve, you get the Raiders.
Who's your quarterback?
Minshew.
Yeah, I will say I will give the Raiders a lot of respect for the fact that they stuck with a coach who, had a strong appeal with the players and didn't go out. The Raiders seem to like the glitz. They like the big names, and they didn't do that this time. And so I'm a little nervous, but it was. But yeah, otherwise, they're the Raiders. They'll screw it up somehow.
Well, Tom Brady might also be a part owner soon, so we'll see what happens when that happens.
As if I couldn't take them more.
Well, he's not going to have anything to say in the team. He's only a limited partner, but still.
Mhm.
All right, Gavin, you get the lovely Mr. Kermit and the Chiefs.
Mm. I mean, the whole thing with Rice and Lamborghini and the 6-car pileup and the now we brought up on 6 different charges, I believe.
8. Last
8
time I think I
charges.
saw 8.
Yeah, that. Oof, man. Yeah, talk about a young kid completely giving his future away.
Remember when
that
everyone
has
was fussing because Vaughn got caught, and we're like, "Oh my god! Like, why do these guys drive on their own? Like, get a driver."
Yeah. Well, they were racing. That's the thing, and it was both of his cars, and they were just like drag racing, and they just being knuckleheads, just idiots. So
Well,
It's almost
they
like
are
they're
22.
young, stupid kids. Huh? Weird.
Well, they are. They're 23, 24, 25 years old. They are young
Right.
kids.
I
So
also
yeah,
thought the story about the owner, like he's the second richest owner in the NFL besides us. We have like 77 billion. He's got like 44 billion or something like that, but
it's
doesn't even have a house or doesn't even stay in the city. And then the locker room, like refuses to build new facilities. They're still in the same locker room they've had since like,
he
2000s.
wanted the city. He wanted
Yeah.
Kansas City to pay for a new
Exactly.
stadium.
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of crazy.
Yeah. So hearing all that is just like, man, it's just funny.
But
It's just
they put a good product out on the field, and so the fans come to the games.
the
So
best
they can
products.
give,
The best.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of teams out there wishing they hadn't bypassed on Mahomes, but
Oh,
Andy
Sean
Reid
Payton.
is
Sean Payton was going to get him, and the Chiefs sniped him from like pick 24 right of the pick before him. And so if that hadn't happened, man, we'd be living in a much different world.
world.
That makes me a little nervous about us overpaying to go trade up and get somebody just because he's afraid of losing out on the next Mahomes. But
Right?
We'll
Yeah,
see.
I know. That's in the back of my mind too.
Brock Purdy played in the Super Bowl.
Yes, he did.
Yeah,
Yes, he did.
yeah, I did. Todd, you get the
We-
Chargers.
I'm so glad I got the Chargers. So I think the Harbaugh-ness of all this is going to be awful for Bronco fans. Like I'm not a big fan of Jim Harbaugh, but he absolutely builds programs. But I will say, for us in Chicago Bronco Nation, the greatest thing the Chargers did is trade Keenan Allen to the Chicago Bears, because the Bears needed to solidify their receiving core to win over Caleb Williams. And so we will still be watching the Broncos at 325, but for the foreseeable future, we're going to have a reason to watch the Bears at noon. And I think that the Caleb Williams era is going to make the Patrick Mahomes era a lot easier for Bronco fans who live in Chicago. So thank you to the Chargers for giving up one of the, really over the last 10 years, one of the greatest receivers in the league. It's going to be fun to watch him here. And I'm very glad that he's no longer going to be beating us as the Charger.
Yeah, the Chargers kind of charged. They were being Chargers like normal. Like, got rid of Keenan Allen, got rid of Eckler, got rid of Williams.
Yep.
Like, they got rid of everybody. It was like, well, Jim came in and he's like, I don't think this is a conspiracy. Jim is going to come in and draft as many of his Michigan boys as he can get on that team.
Can I float a dream scenario for you or a nightmare scenario? Either way.
Sure. That's what this is about.
Or
That's why I like talking with you guys.
The upset shocker of the draft would be that they draft JJ at 5 and trade Herbert to the Denver
bring that up.
Broncos in division, but trade him from the Broncos. What would you give for Justin Herbert? Would you give this year's first, next year's first, and
Entertain.
but some other stuff?
And Todd, I would give Todd.
Todd. No, we got Todd's untradeable. We can't.
Absolutely. If
but
Sean
I mean-
thinks that he could, I would take Herbert. I think he's been in like purgatory
Mhm.
at the Chargers. I mean,
Yeah.
the numbers came out this week. I was reading, you were talking about like the Penner Walton group is the richest ownership in the entire league.
Almost
Like
double.
Yeah, it's like $90 billion is what they have.
Yeah.
Tepper's next at like 45,
Mm-hmm.
and the Clarks, Davis, and I forget the family name that owns the Chargers. They're down like less than $10 million, like $10 billion. Like they don't have a lot of they don't have a lot of extra money. So
Only 10
I'll
billion.
take Herbert. Yeah, it's kind of funny. The Bears are even like lower than 10 million. Like it once you start getting down into like old school families and not these big huge corporate owners, the money is it's astonishing how different the money is, and you can kind of see the products on the field when you look at it that way. So, but
Well,
I was sitting there in my head, I was like, do
yeah.
I talk about what if we could get Herbert? I'd take him.
I
I
will
don't know
throw
about
one
you
thing out
guys.
there
Yeah.
on the Chargers is it's all well and good they're getting rid of Keenan Allen, but when Marvin Harrison is receiving passes, it's not going to be any better.
I don't think he's getting past Arizona. I think Arizona's going to take him. Unless Arizona
I don't think
pulls
he'll
some
get
wild-
past the Commanders. I think the Commanders will take him.
Oh, they need a QB so bad. I think they're taking Jaden Daniels.
QB, trade back whoever is going to take that fourth QB. So
I think
Chargers sitting at 5.
McCarthy is going to be a Viking. That's what happens.
Yep.
Okay.
So I think that a couple things.
I'd
One,
be a Patriot.
2 weeks from this moment, we'll know what the Broncos have done with the 12th pick of the draft. And as Gavin said, like this is going to be a crazy. It's going to be one of the most exciting drafts in recent history. The Almost Home is throwing a draft party. I'm going to be there. I don't know if you guys are going to be there, but
yeah, I'll be there.
Oh yeah.
So like whoever wants to come see the craziness when we trade our first round draft pick for 3 6-rounders. Let's watch it together.
Yeah, this has been the most exciting offseason. Like this is why we're fans. Like this has been the puzzle. Like even before free agency started, the puzzle was there. There were so many facets to it. It's so interesting, and it's just so much fun to be here. Even though we suck right now, it's still a ton of fun, and this is why I love football and the NFL. It's great.
Yeah, my favorite time is after the Super Bowl and up through preseason.
Right.
Because there's like owners meetings and rule changes and free agency and like you said, chess pieces, rumors going everywhere. Schefter showing everybody why we liked him when he was in Denver, like how he always seems to get the tips that he gets and all of that. It's a great
and
time.
we're undefeated from the Super Bowl to preseason. That's
right.
Yeah, we're undefeated. We're still doing good. All right. Well, I'm gonna I think we've covered everything we could possibly cover on this topic at this point.
The only thing is nobody complimented my new Bronco jersey. That's hurtful.
Well, couldn't see it.
That's not new.
I couldn't see it. I think
it's Russell Wilson. I bought it 2 weeks ago.
That's not a new jersey. It is an ancient jersey at this point.
Is that going to join the jersey graveyard that's called like?
No, I am wearing it.
I'm
wearing it every week. The Broncos don't have a winning record. I'm wearing the Russell Wilson.
Oh gosh!
It's a reminder of what could have been.
I'll crack out my Osweiler jersey. We'll make quite a pair.
Oh, I got Chubb one. I can bring that out. So
that's my Cutler. I don't have my Cutler anymore. So.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. As always, I love talking football with you guys. And I'm actually looking forward. Draft show. I will be there for Almost Home, but I'm doing a draft show with the roundtable people that I normally do during the season. So I might have to pop in and out.
Fun.
But yeah, I'll be there Thursday. So all right.
All righty.
Bye, everyone. And for those of you on the show, watch Breaking News next Monday with Sean and I. All right. Have a good night, everyone. Bye-bye.
See ya. All right. Later.
Later.